from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Bringing you the news from Sri Lanka and across the world, it's your national news broadcast on Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I am Siobhan Pereira.
A very good evening to you indeed. I'm Sharika Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena says a decision has been taken to provide a portion of the cost of living allowance for government servants increased through the budget from this month itself. The GMOA commends the government decision to provide a 35,000 rupee allowance to doctors. The President reiterates commitment to enhance Sri Lankan identity as portrayed through Ceylonese policy of Sri Ponnambalam Arunachalam. Chaminda Wijayasiri has resigned from his parliamentary post. Minister Kanchana Wijayasekara says the opposition leader is conducting publicity stunts when the government has taken measures to reduce the power bill. The Mahasangha stresses that the law should be implemented sternly against those who attempt to distort Buddhism. Hezbollah commanding officer killed in southern Lebanon by an Israeli attack. The Sri Lankan reserve squad for the T20 tournament against Zimbabwe has been named.
And a look at your local news now. President Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed his dedication to advancing the notion of Ceylonese towards the Sri Lankan identity originally championed by Sir Ponnambalam Arunachalam.
In the pursuit of a liberated nation, the President underscored the objective to address all war-related issues by the year 2025, aiming to fortify the initiative. He mentioned this during the 100th death anniversary ceremony of Sir Ponnambalam Arunachalam. The event took place at Sir Arunachalam's statue at the Presidential Secretariat premises. Subsequent to laying floral tributes, the President engaged in a cordial discussion with the family members of Sir Arunachalam. Reflecting on Sir Arunachalam's vision of unified Sri Lankan identity transcending ethnicities, President Wickremesinghe highlighted the historical efforts of Mr. D.S. Senanayake in promoting national development through the unity of all races and religious communities. Emphasizing the significance of collective participation in the government's initiative to revive the Sri Lankan economy, President Ranil Wickremesinghe asserted that it is the highest tribute to Sir Ponnambalam Arunachalam.
Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena says the present government, as a peoples-oriented government, has decided to increase the salaries of government servants from this month. Now the Cabinet has decided to provide the proposed cost of living allowance proposed through the budget of 2024 from the month of January itself without waiting till April of the year. The Minister has made these remarks at a media briefing in Colombo today. Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena says that the 5,000 rupee salary increase scheduled to have been implemented from April this year was decided upon to be added to the salary of January. It has also been decided to provide 35,000 to 75,000 rupees payment to doctors and medical specialists. A similar 25% allowance will be provided to university academic staff, including professors and other lecturers. This fact has been conveyed to the parliamentarians at the government parliamentary meeting after receiving cabinet approval. The minister further said that there is a large group who did not pay VAT. The minister further said that only 2 main book trading companies are required to pay the VAT. All other booksellers are exempted from the tax. He also said that there would not be any discrepancy if all pay the VAT. The Department of Inland Revenue should look into the issue. If all pay the VAT, then the department should be able to reduce the VAT percentage. He also said that in the event those who do not pay the VAT, recovering VAT payments from consumers should be informed to the hotline of the Department of Inland Revenue. A media person has inquired on the season tickets being provided to students. Season tickets are a massive expense borne by the government, which even the parents and students are not aware of. The minister also said that currently the government is providing season tickets to around 500,000 students, including those in technical colleges and universities. He said that he, as the minister in charge, has agreed to receive 20 million rupees as season ticket subsidy from the Treasury. Each month, the Treasury has to provide a sum of 1.6 million rupees to the SLTB as relief funds on season tickets. He also said that if officers issue season tickets during school holiday period, then these officers should be offenders. In the month of January, schools are not functioning even for one day. Therefore, season tickets are not necessary for this month. Season tickets could be provided to ordinary level students through recommendation of the principals. Only 7% of season ticket money is being borne by the children and the remaining 93% by the government.
Samagi Janabalawege parliamentarian Chaminda Vijayasiri has resigned from his parliamentary post. The vacancy in the Badula district parliamentary portfolio of the SJB is scheduled to be filled by Nayana Vasalatilaka according to the preferential list. Chaminda Vijayasiri has tendered his letter of resignation to the Secretary General of Parliament, Kushani Rohanadira, today. He has made a special statement in Parliament regarding his resignation. Chaminda Vijayasiri said he felt that he has extended the maximum for the voters who had elected him. He also said that there is a disappointment among the general public regarding all the 225 people's representatives. He also said that he had represented the Pradesh Sabha and Urban Council in 2006 and later on joined the parliament. He also said that he didn't have a V8 vehicle. The MP also said people are cursing his children as well, and that it's difficult to tolerate the situation. He said that therefore he has decided to resign as MP in the 9th Parliament and extended his wishes to humbly hand over his resignation letter to the Speaker. According to Clause 64(1) of the Parliamentary Election Act 1981 number 1, the Secretary General of the Parliament is required to inform the President of the Election Commission regarding the vacancy of the parliamentary member seat. Accordingly, the next in line in the preferential list is to be declared as the MP through a Gazette notification. The next in the list of the 2020 parliamentary election Badula district Samagi Janabalawege is Nana Vasalatilaka, and his name is expected to be declared as the next MP.
Now, Minister Kanchana Wijayasekara says that the opposition leader Sajith Premadasa is engaged in a publicity stunt at a time when the government has taken steps to reduce the power bill. He further says that the proposal relating to the reduction of the electricity bill has been scheduled to be forwarded to the Directorate of the Electricity Board for approval today. Now, the minister was responding to a query raised by the opposition leader regarding the power bill in Parliament today. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said, pointing to Sri Lanka's current economic struggles, demanded clarification on the benefits of allocating 250 million rupees for the operation at a time when the entire country was in a crisis. He has also questioned as to what benefits the country would receive by deploying a craft to control Houthi rebels by spending 250 million rupees. SJB parliamentarian Rauf Hakim has questioned Sri Lanka's stance in the non-aligned movement when the country is trying to counter the threat of the Houthis to fulfill the need of the Americans and the Israelis. However, State Minister of Defence Premita Bandara Tennakon defended the decision, insisting it's not the USA or the Israel-driven but motivated by safeguarding the critical Red Sea shipping lane. He argued that by bypassing the Red Sea for alternative routes like South Africa would significantly increase the cost of goods, impacting Sri Lanka's economy. State Minister of Defence Premita Bandara Tennakon emphasized that this not a problem of America or Israel. It directly affects Sri Lanka. He added that if the country's ships avoided the Red Sea and move along South Africa, the commodity prices would further escalate. The State Minister also said they have an international and global responsibility to fulfill obligations to the world. The State Minister added Sri Lanka is not spending special amounts in the sea transportation.
Patients have been subjected to enormous difficulties as a result of the island-wide token strike which commenced recently by the paramedical professionals. The Cabinet of Ministers, which met yesterday, has agreed to provide a 35,000 allowance government medical officers. The paramedics have also commenced a token strike at 8 o'clock this morning, requesting similar allowance for them. Many patients were turned back in hospitals due to non-issuance of medicine and non-conducting of medical tests. Meanwhile, President of the GMOA, Dr. Rushan Bellana, has expressed his appreciation over the government's decision to provide a 35,000 allowance for government doctors. 950 suspects were reported to have been taken into custody under the Yukti operation in the 24 hours that had ended at 12:30 am today. The police says further inquiries have commenced on 42 of such suspects under detention orders. 28 of them have been forwarded to the rehabilitation centers.
The Yukti operation has got underway in the Marudana Police Division in the Colombo Central. 50 police officers, 12 STF officers, 50 army officers have taken part in the raid. 18 suspects have been arrested. Buses and passengers are being searched under the Yukti program. Several long-distance buses plying across Bandaragama town have been subjected to inspections yesterday. Specially trained official police were also deployed in the operation. Inspection of vehicles have taken place in the Valacheni town since last night up to dawn today by the Valacheni and Vahare police stations. Many private buses and motorcycles have been searched. 84 kilograms of Kerala cannabis hidden near the Vallipuram Kovil in Point Pedro have been uncovered by the Special Task Force. The contraband found among palmyra trees near a shrub at the Kovil was handed over to the Point Pedro police station. In a search operation carried out by the Dikvala police station this morning, 2 parcels of cannabis and 10 narcotic pills have been found in possession of a passenger in a bus travelling to Gaul from Ambalipitia. The 23-year-old arrested person is a youth engaged in employment in a tourist hotel in Mirissa.
Chinese ambassador in Sri Lanka, Kirushin Hung, says China is ready to extend specialist knowledge in the promotion of high-yielding varieties of paddy in Sri Lanka.
He has given the assurance when he called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the temple trees today. The Chinese envoy has also extended a special greeting card on the Chinese Year of the Dragon to the Prime Minister. He has also pledged to extend continuous support to Sri Lanka's efforts to modernize the agricultural industry. The Prime Minister's Secretary Anura Dissanayake and senior Chinese diplomats were also present.
State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinga says that as a result of the success of the economic reconstruction program of the government, the economy of the country would be fully stabilized within the next 18 months. He further points out that a relief economic condition would be created in the country of this year. State Minister of Finance has made these remarks participating in the Gampaha District Seminar in a series of seminars of educating government officials on the budget of 2024. It was organized by the Trade Unions Relations Division of the President's Office and held at the Gampaha District Secretariat Auditorium. State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinga said that it was due to the success of the reconstruction program that the people are now able to lead a normal life. He added that it would take at least 18 to 24 months for the full stabilization of the economy. He added that the government was able to invigorate economic process for the people to overcome many economic hardships by June or July of this year.
And now let's take a look at some more local news. A molecular pathology laboratory was declared open in the National Hospital in Kandy. This was the first occasion of opening such a unit in a government hospital. The laboratory deals with early detection of diseases being inherited through generations and diseases such as cancer via gene tests. The laboratory was constructed by the Past Pupils Association of Dharmaraja College, Kandy, in memory of late senior professor Ranil Samantha. The 3-month arm giving of late veteran artist and actor Jackson Anthony was held at his residence in Kadawatha yesterday. The Dhamma sermon was delivered by Venerable Professor Madagoda Abeyatissatera. Many family, relatives and artists have attended the event. Indian naval ship INS Kabra was reached Colombo harbour yesterday evening on an official tour. The 50-metre-long vessel was ceremonially welcomed by the Sri Lankan Navy. Lieutenant Commander Ajit Mohan is functioning as the commanding officer of the ship.
The Department of Meteorology predicts that the prevailing rainy weather condition would disappear with the activation of the northeast monsoon. Another earth slip has taken place in Tantriya in Bandarwala yesterday. A mobile phone video has recorded how a building and a lorry were submerged due to the incident. Nobody was injured. In the meantime, the Irrigation Engineer's Office says 4 sluice gates of the Nachaduwa Reservoir in Anuradhapura have been opened to facilitate the flow of 734 cubic feet of water to the Malbatu Oya within a second. The overflowing of the Handapanagala Reservoir has caused obstructions to vehicle transport on the Vallavaya Handapanagala road. The Monaragala District Disaster Management Unit says that people living in Handapanagala and nearby areas should remain vigilant.
The Lebanese group Hezbollah says one of its commanders has been killed in a strike in southern Lebanon, believed to have been carried out by Israel. And also now taking a look at more local news, Buddhist clergy and devotees say a controversial video discrediting Buddhism is now being circulated in social media. The Venerable Bhikkhus say that this is another stage of the spiritual tragedy taking place in the recent past.
It has also been pointed out that certain bhikkhus and organized groups are socializing false concepts, beliefs and many superstitious practices. People appear to be placing confidence on those who have been disguised as ordained. As a result, conflict of interest in society is a common prevalence. Fake spiritual personalities wearing robes had contributed to a massive degradation of spirituality in the present-day society. The Venerable Sangha pointed out there were a series of such incidents in the recent history of Sri Lanka could be pointed out as examples. The latest spiritual fiasco was staged by a self-proclaimed bodhisattva called Avalotikeshvara, and Mahasangha denounced such publicity stunts. Venerable Buddhist clergy pointed out that the law should be implemented sternly against those who are engaged in conspiracies to harm the real spiritual status of the Buddha Sasana. Venerable Balangoda Kasapathera at a media briefing said today that Sri Lanka should be ashamed as a country for venerating a culprit who was hiding overseas and later came back to Sri Lanka and appeared as a bodhisattva.
Well, with that we move on to news overseas. Stay tuned in.
பொன்னான லட்சியங்களுக்கு உங்கள் தங்கத்தை மக்கள் வங்கியில் வைத்து லட்சியங்களை பெருமிதத்தோடு நனவாக்கிக் கொள்ளுங்கள். தங்கத்துக்கு அதி உயர் பெறுமதியுடன் அரசு வங்கியின் அதிசிறந்த பாதுகாப்பு. உங்கள் லட்சியம் தங்கம் என்றால் அது சுவர்ண பிரதீப தங்க கடன் அடகு சேவை மக்கள் வங்கியிடம் இருந்து.
Welcome back. We move on to news overseas now. The Lebanese group Hezbollah says one of its commanders has been killed in a strike in southern Lebanon believed to have been carried out by Israel. Wissam Tawil was reportedly a member of the group's elite Radwan Fous, and one of the most prominent Hezbollah figures to be killed in the current violence. Israel's military did not comment, but it did say it had hit Hezbollah targets in response to cross-border attacks. The clashes have raised fears of a wider regional conflict. Hezbollah is an Iran-backed group that wields considerable military and political power in Lebanon. It is designated as a terrorist organization by Israel, the UK and other Western powers.
Now, Gabriel Attal becomes France's youngest prime minister as Macron seeks reset. Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne's resignation comes with President Emmanuel Macron widely expected to reshuffle his top team ahead of European elections due later this year. President Emmanuel Macron named 34-year-old Education Minister Gabriel Attal as his new Prime Minister, seeking to breathe new life into his second mandate ahead of European Parliament elections. Attal becomes the youngest and first openly gay Prime Minister in French history.
A bomb blast killed at least 5 police officers deployed to protect polio vaccination workers in northwestern Pakistan. At least 5 police officers have been killed and nearly 2,000 others wounded after an explosive device targeted their vehicle during a polio vaccination drive in northwestern Pakistan. 5 of those wounded were in critical condition. Officials said the blast took place early morning yesterday in Bajaur, a tribal district in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province neighboring Afghanistan, when Pakistan began its latest round of vaccination campaign. A police official said the blast hit a truck full of police on their way to guard a polio vaccination drive in the Bajaur tribal district. The foreign media reported that the Pakistan Taliban, an umbrella group of militants also known as Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, claimed responsibility in a statement. The year 2023 has been confirmed as the warmest on record, driven by human-caused climate change and boosted by the natural El Niño weather. The European Union's climate agency says that the last year was the planet's hottest on record by a significant margin and likely the world's warmest in the past 100,000 years. Scientists had widely expected the milestone after climate records were repeatedly broken. Since June, every month has been the world's hottest on record compared with the corresponding month in previous years. Experts say that last year was about 1.48 degrees Celsius warmer than the long-term average before humans started burning large amounts of fossil fuels. We move on to sports news now. The 16-member squad of the Sri Lanka participating in the T20 cricket tournament against Zimbabwe team today.
It has received the approval of Minister of Sports Harin Fernando. Captain of the team is Vanindu Hasaranga and the vice-captain of the team is Charita Salanka. Kusal Mendis, Sadira Samaravikrama, Kusal Janit Pereira, Angelo Matthews, Dasun Shanaka, Dhananjay De Silva, Hamidu Mendis and Pathum Nisanka have been recalled as batsmen of the reserve. The Sri Lanka cricket says Pathum would be deployed in play based on his physical feasibility. The bowling department is strengthened by Mahesh Tikshana, Dushmantha Chamira, Dilshan Madhushankar, Matisha Patirna, Nuwan Tushar and Akila Dhananjay. The first of the 3-match T20 series is scheduled to get underway on the 14th of this month. Sri Lanka won the second one-day match of the current series against Zimbabwe by 2 wickets at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo.
The Zimbabwe team, after winning the toss, has decided to bat first. The Zimbabwe wicket was fallen when the score was 1. The highest scorer of the team, captain Craig Irwin has secured his 20th half-century in one-day cricket by scoring 82 runs. When Irwin was dismissed with the fall of the fifth wicket, the Zimbabwe scoreboard was read as 182 runs. Thereafter, the Sri Lankan bowlers has been successful in dismissing the remaining 5 wickets for 26 runs. Accordingly, the team was all out for 208 runs in 44 overs in 4 deliveries. Mahesh Theekshana, in an excellent bowling spell, has captured 4 wickets for 31 runs. Despite the fact of failure of frontline batsmen of the Sri Lankan team, young batsman Janith Liyanage was engaged in a lone struggle and hit 95 runs. Sri Lanka has fulfilled the victory target of 209 runs by scoring 211 runs in 49 overs and 8 deliveries. The best bowling figures for the Zimbabwe team was from Richard Garava, who captured 5 wickets for 32 runs. Janith Liyanage has been adjudged as the man of the match.
And that was a look at your news broadcast here at Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I am Siobhan Pereira together with Sharif Fatah.